This stream contains fast flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
They want to be the very best, like no one ever was. Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of VALORANT Masters Tokyo. Of course, we're coming at you live from the Tipstar Dome here in Chiba with 2 more group stage matches. Of course, I'm Golden Boy, the bald guy yelling at you, joined here by Mimi and Kakuka. The fans are all lined up, ready to go. We had an incredible day yesterday. I mean, honestly, guys, the Kakuka, the building was packed. Everyone was loving it. This was an incredible experience.
It's so surprising to see how much they love Valorant here. I guess that we knew, but actually seeing it here in person is different. We were seeing everybody in the queue already getting that merch, which looks dope for this event, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, there's so many Valorant fans. Yesterday, after the show, I was taking the train back home, and just everyone had one of the Masters Tokyo bags. It's just so cool to see already how passionate everyone is about the event.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we had a chance to take the monorail today, see all the fans get ready and lined up. It's going to be awesome. But let's go ahead and talk about what went down on this stage yesterday, because we kicked off the group stage with some fantastic opening matches. First, it was going to be FUT taking on Evil Geniuses, and this was a match, Mimi, that we were all so excited for because of the journeys that both of these teams took to this point.
Yeah, we thought this would be such a close game. Both these teams have been on this upward trajectory. No one really expected them to be here, but instead what we got was EG just coming out and dominating. Well, the first map, I think, was defined by preparation and some good reads on what FUT was doing. The second was one they haven't played quite as much in their pool, and it just came down to insane individual performances from Busio, of all people.
Exactly. We had a lot of clutches. I think it was very intense. Personally, I thought that FUT would come much better prepared, but I got a beautiful surprise coming from the side of EG. As you said, I think Busio was definitely the man to watch on that second map.
Yeah.
Close, but a 2-0 in the end. FUT didn't even get to close that Lotus that they're so well known for.
You know what also is just wild about this is that we were harping about Demon 1 the whole time. Demon won this, Demon won that. Homie didn't even need to do much because the rest of his team carried the slack. An incredible performance. But then we go ahead and move on, though, as we had DRX take on Attacking Soul Esports, a team making their debut here on the world stage against one of our premier veterans, Mimi. And this was a matchup that I was excited for just to see what the capability of this Attacking Soul squad would be. And I would say that I was impressed, given that they were going up against a formidable force.
Yeah, DRX walk away with a 2-0, as you'd absolutely expect in this series, and it's kind of a confidence win for them. But still, ASC I thought looked really good. They showed a lot of solid ideas. They were able to adapt to DRX's setups. Really, the issue is just at the end of the games, it seemed like they ran out of ideas, started just going for these hard set executes, and DRX was just so good at shutting those down.
Yeah, DRX was also talking about how maybe that last match against HyperX exposed their weakness a lot, and probably something that we saw yesterday. We know that ASC was going to be a tough opponent, and definitely, especially that first map came so close. I think it was a good riddance for DRX to have that starting match.
Yeah, but then we we end things, excuse me, still very early for me. T1 versus EDG. Now, we had no idea where the chips will fall on this one. We were excited to see, Kakuka, how this Chinese team would pop off here on the world stage against T1, a team that also, similar to FUT and EG, have been kind of going through their own redemption arc of their own. And again, impressive across the board from both teams.
And they found their first win at an international tournament here yesterday for EDG. It was not like that. They came very close, especially on that last map, but they didn't manage to get it. I still think it's such a good showing for them to actually come in and put the performance that they did.
But it's so tragic for EDG because this has been their story. Every international event, they show up, they look good. China's finally going to get their first win. And it was honestly echoes of that 100 Thieves series where it went to overtime at lock-in. EDG almost pulled out the win, but at the end, it slipped away from them, and the exact same thing happened here. But this time, there is a lower bracket, and I think they look good enough to maybe get that first win for a Chinese team.
Hey, I like to call call it the first pancake. I think EDG had their first pancake, but now I expect them to make premium banana walnut pancakes, and it's going to be delicious.
Ooh.
That being said, though, we have 3 matches on the docket today, and the bracket's starting to take shape there. T1 moves on. They're awaiting the winner of our upcoming matchup, our first match of the day. It'll be NRG versus Navi, and that will be an exciting one. And then, of course, we have yesterday's winners as well as we flip over to Group B. On that side of the bracket, we had Evil Geniuses versus DRX. So we have a lot of really cool stuff to come, and we'll flash up that bracket in a moment here, but I think you guys all get the gist of it. EG will be taking on DRX. That matchup, we're eating good today, Mimi.
It's going to be a good one. And it's crazy that we're already getting a team into playoffs on day 2 of the event. And there's a real chance it could be EG.
Yeah, well, luckily, we're still not sending anybody home. But, you know, I think that maybe we will get some surprises during this event.
It's going to be awesome. But here's the thing. With one day of Masters Tokyo in the books, I think we need to get some scorching hot takes. In case you can't tell, I'm always sweating, so I really just like to live in the sweat. It's time for some overheating. All right.
I mean, you only need to watch one game to know everything there is to know about a team and a player and draw all judgments. So it seems like the perfect time to do
That's
this.
what we do.
Start us off, Mimi. What is your hot take based off of one day of watching this event?
Evil Geniuses, they took the stage. They won a match. Look pretty good. They're placing top 4 in
Wow.
this tournament. It's happening. It's simply happening. They look incredible. Demon 1, he's fine. They don't need that guy. Boostio, best player in the world, best IGL in the world, unstoppable force. There's no immovable object here. EG's going all the way. Simple.
Okay.
All right,
I'm not mad.
What about you?
Yeah,
What about
yeah,
you?
yeah.
What's yours?
So, you know, I'm on the same line, and I have to say that I'm on the EG train. I'm going to say that DRX will not only get a single map off of them. In fact, I'm going to say that DRX will not make it out of groups for the first time in forever. That is going to be one of the biggest upsets.
You know, this is why they pay you the big bucks. Know everything there is to know about EG.
You know what?
She's so smart.
I'm going to take it a step further. For me,
You're the smartest?
my hot take.
If this is another take about EG, I'm gonna freak
Here's
out.
the thing. No. It's about fraudulent activity. Bold frauds as well, okay? Demon 1 and Boostio, they're not bald. This is bald. Durka's bald, okay? You look at Sideshow. I mean, bless you, but look at Sideshow. That's bald. All right, you wouldn't want to mistake any of them for it. They have to go full bald, otherwise
So wait.
you can't channel the actual bald buff. It's a fact.
So you're telling us that you're literally against us, and you think that the EG is not going to make it just because they're not bold enough?
Look, I just think that what they need to do is just commit, a full commit. All right.
They have so little hair already. You don't want to see their full potential this early in the
That's the
tournament.
difference between an overtime and a 13-11.
You know what? Why don't you guys tell us what you think on social media? You know all that stuff there. Use the hashtags Valorant Masters as well as VCT. We'll feature your tweets on the broadcast. And by the way, while you're there tweeting on us, why not go ahead and answer today's poll? Who had the hottest take? Was it Mimi, Kukuka, or yours truly? Scan the QR code down below. It's my show. I'm in control.
Yeah, we
Scan
know.
the
We're just
QR
living
code
in it.
and vote for GB. Anyway, guys.
Okay.
You can't just rig an election like that. Also, our hot take was all basically the same thing. EG good. Vote for any of them. I'm fine.
No,
he was
EG
not
needs to
good enough.
be
Yeah.
gooder. Anyway,
Ah.
we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to dive into our first few matches of the day. It's, of course, going to be Navi taking on NRG, Angel versus Finesse, Artist versus his former team. It's going to get spicy. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to day 2 of Masters Tokyo. Now that we went to go ahead and paid some bills, it's time to talk about our first match of the day. Some call it a boomer battle. I like to call it a war between the wise men. It's going to be the IGLs, Angel versus Finesse, Navi versus NRG. And what's really fascinating about these teams, Mimi, is that they've met before in the past. Even though they look a little bit different now, it's still very much the same core.
What's crazy to think about is that this is the first Masters tournament since Copenhagen. It's been that long. And the last time we had a Masters tournament, the core of these two teams took the stage in the lower final. It's the only time these cores have ever played against each other. And the org has changed for both. New players have been added for both. But this is a rematch for that core that was Optic. It is now NRG. I'm sure they want revenge on this team, still led by Angel, that took them down and knocked them out of Copenhagen.
And of course, Artis was on the other side. You know, the input that you decide to steal from EMEA, okay, we'll accept it. You know, he's a pretty good player. Definitely NRG thought that same way in that moment. But of course, as you said, Golden Boy, we're thinking about the IGLs, we're thinking about the big minds, and of course, they're reading into each other. I think also the journeys throughout this year for both of these teams have been, you know, they have their spices.
Exactly. It's been a bit up and down for both of them, but they're here now. We actually did get an opportunity to catch up with Angel as he was making his way to Arena. Doug had an opportunity to speak with him. Let's check it out.
Zip on very quickly. Would you say that Navi is underrated coming into this tournament, given your performance at EMEA?
Depends who you're asking. If you're asking VLR, maybe yes. If you're asking some good teams, no.
Best of luck to you today.
Well, yeah. Let's go ahead, though, and talk about the EMEA.
Me personally, I was asking VLR.
Yeah, he does.
So that's where everything comes from for me.
These guys are just trolls. In any case, let's go ahead and talk about Navi, a squad that is very familiar with the international stage in Kukuka. You've been following this team all season long in the EMEA region, and I know that, you know, there's always hype about this team.
There was some sweat during the regular season because, of course, we're talking about maybe some development into, you know, the compositions where they were trying to do. Definitely maybe looking towards the next step in the Navi, in the FPX identity. We know that they were very prep heavy. They relied a lot on their plans. Maybe this year they wanted to take a different turn and maybe take the next step into making them a super team. But, you know, it didn't look that clean.
Yeah, they were cooking a lot in EMEA. And the thing is, they qualify not as really a favorite from EMEA. You'd expect them to be in the grand finals versus Fnatic, but they didn't make it there. They're only at this event because Fnatic won lock-in. They're the 4th EMEA team. So in a way now, this squad that we expected to be a favorite is now only here because they're rival.
That has to sting Angel, knowing that Boaster.
It's okay. I'm dying on this hill. We still get four slots. That's how we do it.
It's
Sorry.
Navi is the 4th.
Okay.
It's Navi, which is just wild given this team's history of greatness.
I think like I admire the effort, right? But I'm gonna go back to something that Angel said during the press conference, and is that the fact that they were trying to find their new style. They were trying literally to prepare for each and one individual team they were playing against. And maybe they overcooked it a lot. Maybe in this time they've gone back and they're not going to go that crazy. I think that they also slowed down the pace during playoffs.
Well, they had a lot of comps, right?
Well, they did.
Some might say
like,
too many.
How many comps did they run here? Let's see. It seems like the list goes off the screen. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Awkward.
Yeah, also, if you look at Icebox there, they were playing Cypher. It's just one of the Angel things, you know? Like, you get to play one Icebox. Why not do it with Cypher? But yeah, of course, I think that for a moment we had like 20 maps that they have played, maybe 17 different comps. As I said, always trying to be like, okay, we're playing against this team that is very good and you know, very hard executes. Okay, let's try maybe add another Sentinel, maybe play some Sage, maybe, you know, adapt to the best of how we can stop them and actually force them to play something different. But that also takes a toll on the players. You cannot expect them to have the same performance swapping agents every single time, because it also alters the plan. Zengo's are seeing it. Like, he had to play Omen on this Lotus. Now the Yoru, it's just swapping around all the time. I don't think that is helping them.
Yeah, the thing is, I think Angel asks so much of his players. The identity of this team always has been that he's like, okay, we need to be flexible. I pride my teams in having multiple comps, being able to play something different depending on the opponent, but it almost seems like they might have taken it a little too far this time in EMEA, because they were changing a comp after pretty much every single map, and that pressure on the players meant that they were losing games that you wouldn't expect them to.
Well, you know, it's interesting you mentioned he expects a lot of the players, but I think it's because the players give him a lot, right? Like, case in point, I think is Sugetsu, because he has been consistent, as Sideshow likes to say, a consistent demon. But he genuinely has been a clutch master for this squad, Mimi, and has really just brought a lot to the table for Navi.
Here's the thing, when Navi is trying out a comp that didn't really work out for them, when things are slipping away, Sugetsu is the guy who saves them. And at Copenhagen, it was the same thing back then. He's the guy who rolled up in the middle of the event and helped them to win it. And his consistency has stayed the same since then. He's clutching, he's anchoring sites, and he is always winning rounds that seem impossible for Navi.
Yeah, exactly. And we were talking about the comparison probably between the regular season and the playoffs. And as you can see in the screen, we see, you know, that improvement is there. Actually, I think that he was around 20% better during those playoffs. Maybe when they slow down in the compositions and they actually put the time that they needed into every single match and actually, you know, reinforcing their play style and how they wanted to do things. That is where Sugetsu thrives.
And the thing is, they struggled in the group stage. They got a little better in playoffs for Navi, but they made it here. And this team, be it back when they were FPX or now is Navi, their thing has always been that they step up in the big games. They play well at the international
They are a
events.
very good tournament team.
They get better with time. And so, well, I'm going in thinking, I'm doubting this squad, that they're not going to be the same as they were before. You can never count them out, because they've made these runs before when they looked rougher regionally.
And so have their opponents. And that brings us to North America's uncrowned kings in NRG. Still searching for that regional title. It'll come eventually for you, Finesse. I believe, my friend. But, you know, it does feel like this team likes to run a certain kind of playbook. It's an odd one. It's struggle in the beginning and then find success throughout the competition.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't have a good start of the year, like that. But I think that every single team goes through a peak phase, right? There's a moment during the competition, especially when it's so long, that you're going to be at your best. The best moment for that to happen is later in the competition. If you want to, you know, try things and maybe, you know, actually figure out what does not work for you, it's better to do it in the first weeks.
That's exactly it with NRG. First 3 weeks, they were trying crazy stuff with the roles, switching around on Killjoy, experimenting, similar to what Navi did. But when they realized that making playoffs was actually in question, they tightened things up. They went back to their default roles, normal compositions, and they improved so much. They beat Loud in the group stage, the only team to do that in Americas. And then they got to playoffs. It started slow again. They lost in the upper bracket, but they ran it back all the way through the lowers to make it to the finals against Loud. And for this core, that's always been the case. Be it regionally, be it international, they get better with time.
Yeah, it's actually, and you can also see in that graph, it's like when they find themselves in a loss, when they find themselves at that low point, they always bounce back, right? They always have a game plan. And that, I think, is the scary part about this NRG team, but you know that Navi's ready for it.
And I think one thing that makes them so good deeper in these tournaments is their ability to change compositions. We talk a lot about that with Navi, but what NRG was doing in playoffs was stealing their opponent's comps, bringing a new Lotus comp, a new Haven comp, pulling out something unexpected in playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. You put the time into that as well. And actually, you know, you get to test it before coming to the big stage. Okay, I saw something that I like. Let me try it. Let me test it. Maybe it fits us. And if it doesn't, we can always go back. We can always swap back to, you know, what maybe could work for us better in a very Navi style.
Just goes to show you the discipline of this team is simply incredible. But similarly to before, we did get an opportunity to get some words with NRG's very own artist. Doug is standing by.
Artist, hey, quick question for you very quickly before you go. Is there any extra incentive for you to beat your former team today?
Absolutely. I mean, I want to win them. I want to beat them just to prove that I'm better than them. So that's the goal.
Best of luck to you there on your match.
Thank you so much. God bless.
When I said standing by, I didn't mean standing on a chair, pero you know, it's okay.
It works.
It works, but hey, there is incentive here, and Navi, you know, they do have Sugetsu, right? They do have some high quality players that can pull them through the clutches. NRG also have artists, but NRG also have another weapon in their arsenal, and it's Crashies. This kid has been electrifying throughout Americas. Genuinely has been just the core, the rock that this team needs.
Totally consistent, reliant. That is the kind of player that you want, especially when you're going through that adaptation period, where you a testing period. You need this kind of players that will grant you the wins when you need them the most.
I think Crashies is the best player on this NRG squad, and that's not just because he's so good in the clutch, he's stepping up as an individual late in tournaments, but I think it's also because in this meta, NRG is playing so many of their maps with a solo initiator, and we always give so much credit to Finesse for how good he is as a caller, but to be a good caller, you need fantastic information, and Crashies is the guy who is stellar at timing his utility in the mid-round to re-clear space, to give information, find that gap, and also working his timings so he always has something to set up the executes. He's so consistent in his utility usage, in his performance, both regionally and at international events. Yep. He's just that guy for NRG.
Yeah, probably. If I think of Sky, I think I want to think of him especially. We were talking about also how the Sky utility has changed. I think that he is the one that uses the best for himself.
Yeah, and that is going to be the reason why all eyes will be on Crashies today. But here's another thing that we're also going to be focusing on before. Doug actually asked Artis about it because today's matchup is notable. This is the first time that Artis is going to be playing against his old squad and his replacement in CNET here. And this is going to be very exciting because, well, you know, Artis had such a big impact on this team, Mimi, from even just his personality, but also from his jet play. Everything that he did was just contributing greatly to the success that the FPX team had, now Navi.
Yeah, when we were talking about Copenhagen and Optic, now NRG, getting knocked out, it was Artis and Sugetsu performing incredibly to make that run. But now things have switched. He's the only import playing in Americas, and he's been really strong for NRG. But his replacement as well, CNET, has stepped up, and, well, there's moments with the Yoru and stuff that don't work out. He's still fit into the system well.
Yeah, I think that maybe he's the one that is going to struggle the most because we know that Jet is not played the same way, and, you know, having to put him in this team and also forcing him, you know, to play the Omen, to play the Euro, getting out of his comfort zone is something that in the past, when he had to go on Chamber, he didn't thrive on it. So I'm kind of scared that, you know, CNET, I know that he's going to be very good when we get to the international stage, but I am scared that maybe all of this time that all these players have been, you know, improving in their personals, he's not sees that time enough.
Yeah, and we'll see how that plays out as well. But, you know, obviously the talk of the town has been the fact that Artis is playing against his old team. And Doug and Bala actually sat down with both Angel and Artis for some thoughts on this one. And, of course, you know, wanted to see what he thought about his former teammate. Let's just go ahead and take a look, because this is hilarious.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're hanging out. Ball and I are hanging out here with Angel, Navi's leader, captain, and really all-around outrageous personality. Now, I kind of want to get your thoughts right off the bat. You're in Japan. Have you been in Japan before? Is this your first time here?
No, I've never been in Japan, but I always wanted to be here actually because the culture is like so different from like what I used to. So yeah, I'm super happy being here. I hope I'm gonna have like more time visiting like different places, talking with more people. Yeah.
Any chance yet to get around, or?
Actually, yesterday we went like to see a temple for like 2 hours or so, but it was not enough.
A temple? I wanted to ask about the Americas versus EMEA battle, because obviously you said Americas in the past, North America specifically.
Yeah.
Ask him who's the best IGL in the EMEA, Bolster or Redguard?
I'm wondering as well, like, because you come from EMEA, who in the battle between Finesse is the best IGL in EMEA to be able to do that?
Is it Bolster or Redguard?
Between Bolster or Redguard?
Sorry, one more time. Who is the best IGL EMEA?
Yes. Between Bolster and Redguard.
Yeah.
Because clearly you're up there. Because clearly you're up there.
It's Redguard?
If he won, I mean, it's a head-to-head final, best of 5.
Yeah. Well, and so clearly we listed those two because you wouldn't be in that conversation. So we were just curious between Redguard and then Bolster. Who do you thought was the best? Redguard?
If you won a tournament, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's clear, like you can't argue with this.
Yeah. I wanted to ask as well, obviously you're going up against NRG first, your former teammate Artis. You guys didn't get a chance to play at lock-in. We were really looking forward to that possibility.
Yeah.
You guys were in really great form at lock-in. That
why
would
don't
have
you
been
guys
nice.
look so good without Artis?
But you also looked so good without Artis.
No, so you
Actually, I would argue, just to be candid with you, I think you guys look significantly worse without Artis. Would you say that Artis is better than CNED, or what? How would you compare the two?
I would say they're very
Just
different.
keep
In
on
terms of like agent pool, in terms of like how they play the game. So obviously after Artis left, we had to change and adapt a lot of stuff.
But Artis is better
Better than who?
than CNED.
But no, Artis
No?
is better than nothing.
Artis is better
Wow.
than nothing. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue. I apologize for cutting you off. I had to.
So, so yeah, basically CNED is just like different player. We had to adapt. He's much more aggressive.
Ask him
He
how
get
he
used
has
to playing
5
much more
winners
loose.
who have all won,
We had to change a lot
and
of
none of them are
stuff,
playing the main
scream at him
role.
a bit.
I wanted to ask about the role issues that you guys have been having. You have 5 winners of tournaments, and none of them are playing the roles that they won those tournaments with.
So is that your fault?
no,
or
it's like-
Is that your fault?
It's
or-
very different from map to map, first of all, and second of all, yes, it's my fault.
So it's all.
You used to have artists to be able to stop you from playing Yoru.
Not really.
It wasn't
I
artists.
still played Euro.
okay.
That's true. That's true.
Are you excited to?
But I wanted Tardis to play Euro. That was the
Oh,
point.
and
That's
you
what he
wouldn't do it.
stopped.
Ask him a no general-
Because it's like
Ask him a question
I
about
like
the
to
NRG
experiment.
highlights.
I like to
Paula.
look for the best possible way to play this game
Yeah.
because there's a lot of new ways.
Sure.
And the only way to learn it is to try it, right?
Yeah.
So I had to do it.
We wanted to pull something up for you here very
Sure.
quickly and kind of get your thoughts on this.
This is
Say this is my favorite team,
This
and
is
like
my
they're
favorite
gonna
team.
beat you.
the one that's winning here. NRG versus Furia.
They're probably going to
You hear that's
beat
me
you guys.
casting, like
It's very nice.
very
voice.
biased casting. And so, what do you think?
About?
The team,
The
NRG.
team.
They're
Mainly-
gonna win, and it's my biggest. I love them.
I have no idea who is it.
Oh,
Mainly artists though. What do you?
Don't
What do you
don't
think?
could you stand up
Plays
and start
the name, but-
massaging Angel.
he's
Stand up
playing
and start
NRG?
massaging Angel.
it is NRG. Yeah. I just have this on my phone to watch sometimes.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah.
Start massaging his back, please.
Yeah.
We just wanted to thank you for hanging out with us. I think this has been a really insightful interview, and there's just, we wanted to take the time to.
Don't touch his leg, please. Touch his leg.
Why are here artists in my
No.
Artist has been in our ear the entire time. All of those questions were artists.
And he basically said for you what to do, right?
Yes. You should be able to hear him in your ear right now. And
I'm
I think,
sorry, Angel.
yeah, you
No.
should be able to reply to him at this point. So if you want to chirp back,
I don't want to talk to him.
Wow. Okay, I see how it is, bro. I see how it is,
Can I
bro.
remove in here? It's fine.
Yeah, you can take it out. It's all good.
Artists,
What's over, though?
how
What's
you're
over?
doing?
Bro, I'm doing
I
good.
don't
I've got a
care.
lot of questions here, bro. I've got a lot of questions, bro.
I
I've got a lot
don't
of
care.
questions.
It was just a polite question.
Wow. No,
You don't need
listen.
to answer.
No, listen, answer this question, Pontus. I mean, why is Pontus on Raze? He's one of the best in the business, Angel. And he's not playing Raze. Tell me, Angel. The fans want to know, Angel. The Navi fans want to know. Why is Pontus not on Raze, bro?
It's the same reasoning why you're Sage, bro.
Wow. Wow. You know what? To check me, bro. You know what? Like, yeah.
Do you have any extra questions?
Oh my goodness.
I've got a few with it.
Nah.
Continue, bro. Don't worry.
Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine.
That's
Some of these are like, you know what I mean? These aren't that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Some of them not for like live, right?
Yeah, you know what it is.
we're going to cut out of here before Artist, Angel, or we get fined.
Yeah, we get fired.
We're going to throw it back and get out of this
Thank
messy
you.
situation.
Thank
you, Artist.
Thank you so much.
No worries. God bless, please.
God bless, bro.
Well, we will never top that.
Never. That's been the best pre-tape we've ever done. How is it possible that Doug and Bala were so serious about it? You
I
can see
couldn't
Bala
do it.
laughing just because he speaks with a smile
I
on
break
his face.
way
but
too easily. No, they.
Them standing up randomly just destroyed me.
The faces on Angel. Sometimes he sounds angry, but he's just a troll. Like he's always in a good.
All right, guys. Well,
I
look.
think he thought. It seemed like he just thought it was a serious interview. Like he wasn't. He
I
wasn't
think he
perturbed by
realized
it.
partway through none of this was serious, which is great. All right, well, before we get started, let's get some basic predictions. What do we feel? How are we feeling about this game, Kukuka?
I think that NRG with the performance that they've had and Navi still being on the path of finding their style for this year at least, I think I'm going to go for NRG for this time.
Okay. All right. What about for you, Mimi?
I think NRG have gotten kind of the experimentation phase of their life over and done with early in the season. They tried out all the different comps, and they found a style that worked for them in playoffs. It looked good enough to compete with Loud, to make it second place in Americas, whereas Navi has been struggling regionally. And while you can say maybe they were saving strats, but they've played so much. They've played so much comps. What do they have left? You can never underestimate them, but I think you have to give the confidence to NRG.
All right, well, we're going to see how all this plays out, people, but the coaches are going to be standing by for the map picks, and let's just go ahead and get this day started. We have 2 more teams making their debut and 2 more fighting for a shot at the knockout stage. It's Navi versus NRG, EG versus DRX. Day 2 of Masters Tokyo starts right now.
Masters には秘密がある。ここ東京で世界が見つめる中、その全てが明らかになる。解き放たれる才能、暴かれる秘密、全て出し切るか、無に帰すか。精鋭たちが限界に挑み、新たな可能性が生まれる。想定が覆される最前線、最高峰はさらなる高みへ。全ての試合、全てのラウンドで、それがマスターズ東京。目撃、プレイ、そして高みへ。
And watching some of those players for the last 3 years, they always make it out of groups no matter what. If we take a win off them, then that just means we're here to compete with the big dogs.
그렇게 좀 긴장하는 게 좀 없지 않아 좀 있긴 하지만은 기대 굉장히 하고 있습니다.
Demon One is going to own International. I don't think anyone is going to be able to compete with them.
항상 이제 화면으로만 봤던 선수들이기 때문에 총을 일단 굉장히 잘 쏘는 건 원래부터 알고 있었고, 이지디몬, 이지.
We're not happy with our performance in EMEA regionals. We have everything to prove here.
There are a lot of IGLs that I have a lot of respect for. Sadak is one of them. Another one would be Angel.
It's gonna be fun to play against Ardis. It's our first match against old Optic Core. So yeah, I'm looking forward for this match. It's gonna be banger.
There's no such thing as an easy group. We're here to win.
First of all, congrats to both of you for making it here. It's been a long year, so congrats on making it to Masters. So we're gonna get things started. NRG, you were higher seed. Do you want Team A or Team B?
Team B.
Okay, so Navi, you will be Team A, and so you're both good with the pick ban process.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Navi, you're Team A. We'll start with your first ban.
Haven.
Haven, your ban.
Fracture.
Fracture. We'll go to map number 1 from Navi.
Ascent.
Ascent. Side on Ascent.
Defense.
Defense. Map number 2.
Lotus.
Side on Lotus.
Defense.
Defense. Okay. And next set of bans starting with Navi, you have Bind, Pearl, and Split.
Bind, Pearl, Split. One bind.
And Bind. Okay. Pearl and Split.
Band Pearl.
Okay. So map number 3 will be Split. Navi, side on Split.
Defense.
Yeah, defense.
Defense?
Let's go
Okay.
defense.
I'm going to walk through this really quick, make sure we're all good to go. First set of bans, we have Navi with Haven, NRG with Fracture. Map number 1 is Ascent with NRG on defense. Map number 2 is Lotus with Navi on defense. Next set of bans were Bind and Pearl, so map number 3 will be Split with Navi on defense.
Sounds right.
Sounds good?
Cool.
All right, good luck to you guys.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Navi. NRG.
At one point in time, the cores of these teams were considered the best in the world, and now they find themselves in an unlikely battle here in the Tokyo group stages. It's NRG taking on Navi, and this is what professional Valorant is all about. I'm so excited for this one.
It's going to be a fantastic match. Last year, the cores of each of these teams took a win at a Masters tournament. For NRG, they won in Reykjavik. For Navi, it was in Copenhagen, but now they come again to another Masters tournament. But this time, the expectations have shifted. The players have changed. For Navi, they're only the 4th seed out of EMEA, and NRG still near the top of their region.
Totally, and also the entire structure of Valorant regionally has changed this year, so we need to see all that time put into the server. Need to translate to this. There is no excuses coming to the international event. You need to be ready.
And the history is there. Artist, the only import in the Americas lead. He's playing against his former teammates for the very first time on that stage. And this is a match that matters for both of them. The expectation is a deep run for both Navi and NRG, and getting the cleaner path out of the group stage is an important first step.
I'm looking at Sam as well, the only one that has not won a title from everybody that is on the server today. So, of course, exactly, he's just walking amongst giants, and he's going to have a banger performance just like in the rest of the season.
But he's been so good at locking. His first land, he was popping off for NRG. He kept that form into Americas. He's a younger player. He's newer to this stage, but he is still incredible.
Yeah, the stakes have never been higher here for both of these teams, and it's really just a battle of respect when you really think about it, because they've encountered each other so many times, they're passive crossed against one another so many times. You have to imagine that at this point, when they look at across the stage, no matter who it is, you have to feel that sense of pride and respect, knowing that you're playing against some of the best in their craft.
You have to. Finesse and Angel as IGL, some of the most respected in the scene, facing each other for the first time in ages. It feels like this should be a rivalry, but this is only the second time they've played.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we're in for a treat. I cannot wait. Also, we didn't get the chance to talk about the map Veto Ascent being the first map, you know, after all the changes that we have seen coming from the side of Navi, and we see an NRG that definitely knew what to do on this map.
And the question is, what is Navi's composition? What is their identity at this tournament? And they're going back to their most recent variation here, where they're playing double initiator. It's the Fade instead of the Sova, and the Cypher instead of the Killjoy, but it's still very near the meta comp.
Yeah, exactly. Things to look at on this game. How many times Angel is going to leave his teammates without smokes on the attack, just because he loves going on those lurks, he loves going aggressive, so maybe he needs to calm down a little bit as well. For example, Shao, having very predictable utility. We need to see the next step. We talked about how they slowed down on playoffs with changing the comps. Maybe this is too predictable now.
Maybe it is, but still, I'm glad they're finding some consistency. Not trying to reinvent the wheel. Pick the comp that worked the best. Don't overcook it. This one is reasonable. I'm watching Sugetsu in this one. He is the guy who will save this team when things go wrong. And on that Cypher role, lurking, he is so enabled. But on the other side for NRG, they're playing the bog standard composition. They're good on this map. They played it a lot in Americas, and this is a map that is really going to be about the battle between the IGLs. It's all about mid-rounding on Ascent.
We heard a lot about how Ardis thinks and feels about this matchup. It's time to see the head-to-head between Ardis and CNET.
Well, that was your Prime Gaming Agent select, and now it's time to jump into the action and send it over to your casters for day 2 in this epic confrontation. Actually, my 2 friends that I'm sending over to, quite the Gundam enthusiasts. Ain't that right, Doug and Bala?
Doug is everywhere.
Thank you so much. I know nothing about Gundam, but I do know this. There's an extra buzz in this arena today, and Bala, it's because we're gifted with an insane match this early in the tournament.
Yeah, we haven't had this matchup yet. It's the very first time Ardis is going up against his former team. It's only the second time these cores have clashed. We only saw that one battle at Copenhagen where Navi ended up taking the throne, FPX back then. But for this to be the first match of group stages for both of these teams is just crazy.
Well, and I think to double down on that, the fact that we're going to Ascent to start things off just seems really fascinating given what was available.
Yeah, I mean, also, too, Artis is legendary on this map in matchups like this, so for him to be on the other side for Navi is definitely something that they're thinking of for sure. But yeah, there was plenty of available options. Bind was available for NRG. You also had tons available for Navi.
You got Pearl available for Navi, yeah. They just chose to go away from it and go towards Ascent instead.
And so, the first battlefield, Ascent. NRG starting on defense, Navi on attack. A little bit of defaulting coming in from the side of Navi. 4 players outside of B main, 1 player Sugetsu holding on A main. Oftentimes you see them try to peek out for CNET to get a peek early on B, even on pistols where you know that the players have studied your other side. Just making sure there's no pushes going on the map right now for Navi, and there isn't. But look at Crashies posted up with Artis inside of middle. Artis has that Sheriff in a spot where he has the dash too and really can bait Crashies, who's playing anti-flash. If Navi choose to go up in that direction, that could be devastating. But I feel like with the entire movement that they've had so far, it's really been making sure they're not pushing in mid and then reapproaching this B side. Sugetsu's even joined them.
I mean, they even have trips out on A main, so you're absolutely right. Making sure there's no pressure coming in where they don't expect. And now they can turn their eyes towards B.
So slow. Camera out to initiate.
And it hasn't been cleared. They may have heard it, but they don't know it yet. You see the Han already hitting the site, and CNET is the first to enter. He's also the first to draw blood. Traded right back, and they're all lit up. How many targets can Crashies drop? None. Numbers heavily in favor of the attacking side. As they've now gotten the spike out, they should be able to secure the plant.
It was so labored, though, to get through B main there. They didn't want to challenge that dart. Still with the advantage for Navi, though.
See the Prowler making sure there's nobody pushing upstairs. As the spike ticks. Looks like Finesse is going to try to make a play, but it seems like they're ready for it. They're waiting off of the flash. The timing on that was beautiful. How much more can they find?
Oh, and that was important for them to hold on for that lane crossfire to go through. They had to fall off.
They have burned some time here, though. Don't really have the luxury of that. With Shao getting 2 massive kills, it's gotten significantly more difficult.
And the reposition's perfect.
Just Finesse now. And he's surrounded. Yeah, he was spotted. A 3K for Shao.
That's crazy. Shao throws out the haunt and runs upstairs to get the spam on him, too. It's a really, really good round from here. Getting the first 2 as well. While they fell off of lane, holding this position right here. Nasty stuff. This is the thing with Navi, even regionally, while maybe every single player wasn't popping off, they have star potential in everyone. Shao is 100% a top 5 initiator, top 3 initiator, potentially even up there in the conversation for best in the world.
That's just such a complete roster. There really doesn't feel like there are weaknesses that you can hit at or poke at. And maybe if you want to get exceptionally critical, you talk about the fact that they seem to experiment a bit more than others do, but I mean, their pedigree of success is evident.
And so this is anti-eco against NRG right now.
Yeah, if you are just joining us, we did lose the HUD for just a moment, but it is a 1-0 lead.
Pistol went to Navi. And looking right now, you can see Classic for Victor as well. They do have a semi-stack coming in this direction. 4 players as Crashy rotate over too.
And Sam is tucked on the other side of the cage. First kill going over in favor of the shorty. The Haunt giving his position away though. And now Victor swinging out and trying to make a play happen, and he cannot. Now it's all left down to Artis to rotate back towards the site where he's going to be greeted by 4 members of Navi.
Spike planted.
He's positioned to do his best if they ended up hitting that B site, but mostly just stay alive as long as possible. And now that it's flipped over, a very, very good anti-eco from Navi.
Really, yeah.
And you have to think as well. You didn't get a chance to see the full loadout, of course, but you know they're known for their buys. They're known for going for multiple Vandals, Phantoms in this situation to try to carry over a massive advantage in this bonus. So the fact that that stays clean, that's kind of a win condition when you're facing up against Navi. Because right now they've made this even, in a sense.
Yep. I am being told we should have the HUD back very shortly. So for now, we're just going to go on this ride together.
Oh!
And Artis is taking a ride into the next round already.
Just a dry swing. And that's important for CNED to get going right there before Artis gets the op up. Not having it in this third round.
And that's a matchup and a clash we're going to keep a close eye on because, again, there's so much history here. But the first duel going over. Ooh! Great response out from NRG, though.
And the flash as well to delay. It gives so much time for Som and Victor to fall off of that angle and set up for a second hit.
Yeah, that paranoia was very nice.
So they've switched and taken advantage here. Especially Crashes' drone is clearing out Cat right now.
Did it spot anyone? They were just on the other side of the peak. Perhaps some misinformation depending on the timing.
Right now, Navi waiting as well for Xiao's cycle of his haunt to come back up as well. Maybe could be used in conjunction with CNED and a smoke of some kind. Not now that you've got that knife hitting CNED.
And he gets the kill.
That's not supposed to happen there. That spot where he's jump spotting from, he should be able to tuck very fast. There's the haunt and the smoke that I was talking about, not pinging anybody.
Finesse is pacey on this one, but by the time he shows up, the round may be over. Just Crashy's on A right now as the spike gets planted.
Spike planted.
Can he find the timing? Can he find the space? Position already betrayed. He swings around, gets the first, and that's well done. He's done the damage he was looking for, and now Crashy's, you're right, has joined the fray, a prowler in his face.
And that actually spots both there because he shot his weapon.
Time is short, the swing up from Crashy's is there, and Crashy's gets both!
Of course it's Crashy's.
Who else?
To have a big start here for the team, to get that first round on the board. Of course it is. Instrumental piece. And again, full flash there. Maybe they peaked slightly early, but Som and Victor with the re-clear on A main. Navi was expecting that. I mean, it still works out for NRG.
They were out wide, too. I mean, they were standing in the middle of A long.
You have to think as well, CNED in this final moment, facing up against the double doors push, was uncertain whether there was still a player heaven. Not quite sure if they were able to put 2 and 2 together about the two weapons shooting at the same time. I have a flash over from Victor to start to pressure, but no, just looking. So much actually called out from Victor right there because of this smoke that just got put out. It's a lot earlier than anything Navi's done so far. They've been so slow every round.
It really just seemed like Navi wanted to explore slowly. As you were saying, explore the middle of the map and then reset. They poked and they prodded, and now they proceed towards A. Victor's already gotten a good bit of info. The paranoia, flash to counter.
Oh, he can't nade him off now.
Artis is in a really good spot. Yeah, the spam is there for the second. Third in the cloudburst, not found. But numbers heavily in favor of NRG. What can Shigetsu do to equalize? Nothing found. Artis with 3.
Looking for CNED. He's low on the site.
This would be such a difficult round for Navi to equalize.
And they do knife CNED's position too, so he can't use the uncertainty element anymore. Xiao's got to make a play. He has recovered the spike though.
He is known for making plays. An opportunity to do it here early in this best of 3. Early on Ascent.
They're stuck though. They're stuck on the site.
What may feel like a stalemate still just is so heavily in favor of NRG, given the numbers advantage, given the fact that time is short, but they still managed to get the spike down.
1 enemy remaining.
Just like that, the numbers dwindle. Shao spotted too because of the dart. He's cleaned up. Artis gets 4 and another round for NRG.
Beautiful hold as well from the NRG players, giving up nothing there when the situation is in their favor. One of the things they're very good at is showing discipline in those moments.
They did.
That knife against CNED, and then as well the dart coming in from Crashies right here, picking up the extra orb from Som. Those types of things are crucial in marquee matchups like this. Navi's still going to be able to invest a lot in this round. Light armors, they're forcing up. Knife going to be popped from CNED. Victor doesn't quite yet have that no command, so nothing to cancel other than the knife. And they look like they want to go for that mid control, the same sort of thing they did in the last round that Victor called out they were doing. The alarm bot is there for Navi to break. But with that smoke, they're not interested actually in trying to fight through. They don't quite have the util. to do so.
This is interesting here. They've put Artis up so aggressively towards B. He's got the dash blocked. There is a member close by. That's Shao on the other side of the wall.
I know exactly where you are.
Artis attempts fade and then gets away.
One tap from that Vandal. And challenges CNET again. Head-to-head battle. Going in favor of CNET so far.
Blade's finding value. But what did Navi do off of this?
Sugetsu's way out.
Slip the net. You're absolutely right. And you got Zipan close by, but Victor is not going to be spotted. He's in a position to make a play here. Does he go checked? No, he does not.
Should be tradable, but they fell off of Cat in the meantime.
A second chance at life here as they swing out and apply pressure out onto Shao. They decide to overwhelm him and bully him.
You saw both players from NRG jumping to try to get that cross going.
Planted.
Little miscommunication, but it still works out.
Now door cleared. And an opportunity for NRG to attempt this retake with a little bit of misdirection.
Nobody breaks the dart.
Trampoline out, they want to go ahead and see it done. It's just Zipan down in hell. Looking for a target, looking for an opening, and gosh, I thought he was going to land that shot. But Victor's moonwalk gets him the round.
This dude's just holding the D key.
You failed.
Classic to set up this duo, Crashies and Victor. Combined in the 2v2 so well, and even earlier in that situation as well. Synchronized. And that's huge. NRG stringing together the rounds they're going to need on defense. Remember, this map heavily defensive-sided, regardless of the comps you run.
And also regardless of regions. In Pacific, that's not the case, but in Americas and in the EMEA, it does heavily lean that way.
Shark attack potential. You have Artis with the op right now. It looks like they want to set up Finesse and Victor down bottom mid. And that's an absolutely brilliant shot from Artis. Taking down Zipan is such an important tool, especially dependent on the ult cycle that starts to come up at this round 6. They've left Finesse. They've inserted him down in the bottom of mid. Especially if they start to see Victor's position. Artis, again, maybe on that B main, maybe fires off a shot. If they want to pivot late in the round, Finesse is going to be absolutely brutal.
And he's been known for ratty positions, ratty kills. Timing's great, and there's another.
And that Shao Prowler is literally intended to stop a flank right there, but the timing's slightly off. And the redrone to get him even more space. And again, they'll take the A side, but NRG has retook 3 times already.
And it seems like they're well poised to do it again. A 5v3 here. They have 4 ults to play with.
2 and 3 though.
It's Artis who got that one. It looked funny for a moment. It's seen it. It's overwhelmed. He's surrounded. He's got bullets from all sides. And there's just nothing they can really do to convert.
Good attempt from Navi to back up and try to play together there. But once again, NRG doing the exact same thing. And they're definitely in control here on this defensive side. These rounds need to keep coming though. For Navi, this might be the first time we get to see them full save. Because it's been multiple buys in a row where the light armor is gaining them extra. And it's really nice to see both of the Jets right now in that duel that we've been looking forward to all year long. Stepping up right now, both at the top of the leaderboard, identical scorelines.
Just the Sheriff for seeing it now, while Artis has much bigger weaponry in the op. And it seems like he's going to get tested early.
And the tools just get even better here. On the side of NRG in terms of those ults. And in terms of the playstyle that they're going for so far, really heavily posturing over towards B and retaking every round on A really nicely, but allowing that site take to come through.
Now, Navi have explored mid a couple of times, but then they reset. They don't necessarily commit to this area of the map, and it seems like this time they want to.
This turret in B main allows Artis to be very happy to take this angle.
Dash Brock, position given away, and what a shot from CNET.
Is that 3-0 right now for the man? Finesse is here to cover it, so it's not the end of the world. Ooh. But this TP from Angel's in their spawn. You'd never expect that.
He was behind them.
You expect that to go backside every time.
Crashies with 2 massive kills to try to normalize things for now.
Do they both get guns? Yes, they both pick them up. Only a Guardian from Shao, actually. But they both get in sight, too. They can play together.
That might be enough. It's going to be Shao. He's going to have to do it on his own. Now switching over to the Phantom, a 1v2. the threat of the spike, and now the reposition from the initiator. One down.
30 seconds left.
And a bullet fired on the second. Should have a good idea of where Sam is.
Time to play. Plenty of it.
Remember Sam walking amongst giants, in a position to make a name for himself on the international stage now. What a massive clutch this would be, but can he deliver? Shao patiently biding his time, and Sam reads him just right.
The Phantom was sticking out there from Shao. Sam with the jump out, spots it immediately and just spams him down. It's ridiculously well played from Sam.
I mean, I'd love to see that from his POV because there couldn't have been much of the barrel.
That box, pesky. We'll have to see Angel with his TP obviously causing cracks. Remember, that was a light buy from Navi, so despite the outcome, the fact that it got that far is ridiculous. Here it is. Barrel shot. Oh. That's a lot. A lot. Shao playing in that same position you saw him on pistol get value.
Yeah.
So you saw that's a comfortable one for him. Maybe even reading into that is some.
Early timeout called here. Off of 5 rounds in a row from NRG. The pistol goes towards Navi, the second round does too, but ever since then.
There's been close situations, but yeah, NRG in full control. It seems like Navi is a little hesitant to actually fully commit to some of those ideas. You saw that was the first round they pushed past that alarm bot. Every other time they've been going through catwalk. And even then they're freezing before taking the rest of the A site. That gives him so much. For Finesse to start mid-rounding, for him to get those flanks off, and also to come up with a clear picture of where the Navi players are positioned.
Stoic look on the faces of the Navi members. It's pretty sweet.
Angel fans in the crowd?
Yeah, love to see that.
It's so nice that this audience supporting every single team.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it a lot yesterday, but this crowd really is goated. They're so good.
Showing up on Monday here, too.
Yep, at noon. Either way, back into the action. 8th round on the cards. And plenty of ults for the defensive side to work with. Remember, they've won 5 rounds in a row here, and the potential opportunity to get more. You're right, there's a setup for Sharks.
Flash to obscure.
There it is.
Odin
There's the dart,
spam.
there's the flash. There's the spam, and there's the kill.
And he also has the possibility of ulting even further, especially how Navi's not taking map control very early. He gets a tag here. He should be comfortable going for this.
And he is. First tag, second tag, and I believe
He
he
saw
saw another.
it.
Yep. Damage dealt. I mean, crashies. Yes, there was help off of the additional utility, but what a round.
It's crazy, too, that Navi didn't react to what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a play that's been run by NRG and everybody else on this map for so long. Not quite something that you see often in EMEA, but Navi should definitely be ready for that. And you can see Angel trapped in that position. And also the fact that NRG has been giving them a lot of room to take that mid control early, it definitely is something that they talked about in the timeout. That is working, that we're getting that space. We're going to continue taking it. And they've swapped everything.
A wild call on the other side of the break.
And even Crashy's following up. They swapped the position, put the alarm bot close. He could have used his ult off of that if he didn't use it earlier, but now as well in mid to spam.
Excellent call from Zipon.
They always recover these situations somehow.
Oh boy, you went the wrong way. Sam cleans him up.
A blunder from the Turkish Jet. The original dynamic Jet player. Not quite working out, but the flash does clear. Have been instantly traded back from Artist, though.
And now Zipon the last to stand, and he's so weak.
Shorty's coming at him.
1v4. Brutal scenes there as NRG are going to get another.
They're looking really good here.
Yep.
And the things that they're trying are working. I mean, to get 2 kills off of that initial setup is just absurd in my mind. Not something that Navi should be falling to easily. But it also is something that is tough to expect. Out of the timeout, though. And Angel frustrated. Can't quite find the read.
No, not at all. It's at 6 rounds now for the Americas representatives. They still have the blades, they still have the lockdown, and they still have Sam's ult.
Deep alarm bot again. Right into that smoke. And this is because now you have the players who want to re-clear A, so they want advance notice of that cat push, and also Artist peeking over towards B.
Yeah, he's been here before, yeah. CNED was ready for it this time. Yeah, the drone also helped give a cue.
Oh, Odin spam.
Nothing found from Crashy's side.
Somehow, some way, CNED is getting the best of Artist in almost all of their engagements, but Artist is doing still such a great job in this map. While the head-to-head not going to favor him potentially at the end of this half. The scoreline between the two teams definitely will, and he's a big factor in it.
Crashies is holding a very precarious angle here, and he's by himself. He has no exit, not able to land any shots. In the face of the Prowler, he falls.
Great swing, but they did get a knife suppress on the rest of the Navi players, so it does slow them down.
All committed from Sam. They're all B. They're all anchored together, huddling in on the side, trying to hold the line. It's a 1-for-1 as Finesse manages to get 2 massive kills. But Navi finally break the trend.
And they do it pretty good, actually. 3 players alive for them, so especially with the way that their bank is hurting over and over. And they've been keeping NRG fairly respectably low.
Yeah, all of these rounds, for as much as it's a big lead for NRG, the rounds have been very close.
Yeah. And again, early on in the half, I was mentioning, they need to keep coming from NRG. This streak of 6 is fantastic, yes, but there's still 3 more rounds in the half.
Right.
And that could flip back to 6-6, in which case it would be a terrible outcome for the Americans.
Early Nightfall used. CNED wanting to go aggressive. Finesse right above you. Done.
And that's an upgrade for a weapon there, too. That right click so important to be using as a util.
Artist pulled out the blades of his own as Crashies falls. Looking for some high ground, looking for a kill. It's actually Victor who cleans it up. Back to the reliable op now. Zipan commits to the spike plant. Victor going aggressive, trying to apply some pressure, but Chow holds the line. Does Artist go here? A 1v2? No, he can't handle it.
I mean, I would have loved to see Artist commit fully to that, for sure. And Zipan ends the idea early. That's 2 in a row now from Navi, already starting to enter uncomfortable territory despite this fantastic start from NRG. And this is the same exact, I mean, in their very last game in the grand finals against Loud, they started on Ascent and they had a great start. But rounds like this start to slip. You start to get a little bit of a streak on this defensive side, and all of a sudden, you're staring down the barrel of defeat. Ridiculous round from Shao again on that stairs. He's so good at holding against that position, which is not easy. There's so much different things you can do to clear out that space.
Spamming the box, dumping utility behind there. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Flashes to keep you off.
Yeah.
Shao clutch, please.
He's working on it. He's working on it. It may not have been a clutch, but that was a hell of a hold.
I call it clutch, man.
Second time out of the half called, this time from NRG. So both teams have used 1. Still a 2-round lead. But Navi have made a run at this the last couple of rounds. And to go back to what you were saying a couple of moments ago, Bala,
yeah.
A 6-6 half on defense Ascent is not a success.
Yeah.
I'd argue 7-5 isn't a success either.
And look at this, actually. NRG does not have the money for an op. Artist has been trying to get back on top of it. But now it's CNED with it. Attack side op. Definitely could be something, especially given you know how people, especially the KOs, are jiggle peeking.
Yeah.
If CNED gets on a line like that, could take out Victor specifically. And Artist has been loving to peek mid so many times. Ooh. He updrafted so you could hover over towards this box. Get the upper peak.
CNED has had Artist's number.
I mean, that's disgusting.
What a beautiful setup.
And the thing, too, is if you updraft the... Oh. Playing with fire here, NRG. He doesn't move from the spot until later.
Wow. I mean, what confidence.
Again, that updraft, if you do it at the start of the round, you can potentially hear it. So sometimes you just updraft and glide as the round starts. But either way, that's a dynamic way to do it. Definitely messes with the timings.
Absolutely.
Bomb grenade out.
Finesse looks like he's going to be the first to contact here on B. You hear the ult used out.
Victor.
And he's close by. Som's in a big spot. Only able to get 1. No follow-up on that.
That was definitely a moment he could have gone for more, and Sam is explosive as the controller player. When he finds himself in positions like that, you definitely could put him good for 2. They'll get the ult up, but the lockdown is going to prevent them from going B. Doesn't matter, though. Angel has been interested in going A this entire time.
They held a little bit, too, before they committed the ult, splitting their numbers, and then committing out onto that. Now Crashy's left alone in a 1v4.
There's nobody near right now.
19 seconds left. It's got to be Pacey, but he takes the fight. And all of a sudden, the fears, the concerns of a 6-6 half for a region are starting to realize.
It's crazy that they've pulled this back. And again, because of this shot is ridiculous, by the way. And I love the, ingenuity, whatever you want to call it, for CNET there, but also the fact that he hits that shot is still ridiculous, man. That's not easy. That flick is so wide.
Remember, it was just a few moments ago, we saw both of them on our screen, and they were stoic. Finally smiles.
It's crazy how much this matchup is delivering so far.
And it's just the first half.
No big ults, only Angel, but he's been finding some creative ways to use this season.
And just remember, it was a couple of rounds ago that he ulted behind Finesse.
It's tough on LAN, especially with an audience like this, to hear that cue. Not just the ult voice line, but where that ult is being placed.
Yeah. Note, that's the same smoke.
Same ult. And that's great because you actually are preventing people, especially Crashes. His lineup there is inside of that smoke. So he's looking to actually cancel Angel while the rest of the players just spam him. He shows up on the radar because of that.
Second smoke used, and they cannot gain any traction. They cannot gain any space. Forcing NRG to hold for just a moment before they attempt their retake.
It's crazy that the answer here for Navi this half has been to just hit B.
Victor has a knife. But there is a Sugetsu on the prowl.
Hasn't happened this entire half, this lurk.
His timing may be everything here. He has no idea. Never had a shot. The second shot delivered from Sugetsu. 4 on the round and 6 for Navi. A prime gaming flawless.
Switching sides.
That's what you want to see if you're a Navi fan. They close it out as a 6-6. That was the biggest fear here from both the NRG players and the NRG fans. This half has slipped, and again, a dire half from what looked so good.
But to go back to the conversation we were having earlier, everyone on this roster can deliver. Right? It's not just CNET. Everyone has the firepower to pull off something like that. Let's throw it down to the brick desk to break down that first half.
Thank you so much, Doug and Bala, and wow, what a way to kick things off, Kukuka. It doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, I think that it was crazy, the fact that Navi managed to get that pistol, then the consecutive, and then NRG with those retakes, with the way that they were playing in pairs, knowing exactly the amount of space that they were given, the plays that we saw on A were insane. But after that timeout taken from Navi, I think one round after, they stayed getting rounds and rounds after, just learning and trying to stretch a little bit the timings.
Yeah.
And Navi's turnaround was so impressive because of that strong start from NRG, which was in that anchoring. I think what this team is always good at is rotating in to support their teammates who are on the anchor role, particularly with Crashes. When Victor saw them play this A site together, they're really good at finding the gap in an execute to be proactive and find a kill, as they do in this round. And then you see a little bit deeper in the round, when the anchors eventually fall, it's Crashes coming in, throwing a start to support his teammates on site, and then retaking in a pair to win this one out in the late round. It's excellent from them. But again, Navi have taken control of this one, and NRG have felt this before. In the finals against Loud on Ascent, they started super strong. It looked like they had the perfect read on their defensive side, and then it slipped, and they ended up losing that map in close fashion.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm taking a look at is the head-to-head between Ardis and CNET. We know how Ardis was feeling coming into this, but I feel like CNET is like at least CNO against him. Like, he's definitely got his number.
Yeah, and as we take a look here at some of the stats, I mean, I think it's just important to note as we dive into
Look at that attack win percentage.
Yes, I know. We are always going to see these two teams go toe-to-toe like this.
Yeah, they're really going to be a tough one to close out here for NRG. This composition for them, they're normally solid on that attacking side, but that's when you're getting an 8-4, 7-5. That's really what you're looking for on this map. For Navi on the other side, with this defensive side, they're really good. The Cypher gives them a lot of options to be proactive on the rotation.
All right, well, let's go and get back into the action. Send it over to Doug and Bala.
Thank you, Golden Boy. An ominous stat that we saw right before getting back into the action, 63.8 defensive win rate for Navi. That's more than average, Ball.
Yeah, on the other side too, NRG, 36% on attack. Crucial numbers to keep in mind, and why I kept harping on the fact that this half from NRG, while it seemed so good, has fallen so far.
It needed to continue, and it did not. And now Navi find themselves with a golden opportunity.
Fast B. They invest their flash. They invest a lot in that early hit. Is there a second stage? Because I don't see a second flash. Yes, Victor's got one. But you can see, Sha was already ready to counter whatever hit might come out. NRG had to cancel, and they do. Plenty of time to pivot. And obviously Finesse was on the other side of the map. Potentially just looking for a pick there. Maybe expecting CNED to go aggressive on that B side.
Finesse is about to have his hands full. 2 on the other side here, shoulder spotted from Angel. Then Nano's going to create some space and buy some time. Meanwhile, NRG go pacey towards A through Cat. They've got them surrounded, and they're backing out. They're canceling again.
The smoke came just in time there from Angel. Both sides of the hit canceled right now. There's a crossfire between Sugetsu and Shao.
Such a dynamic call. Right on time. That haunt didn't miss. That haunt missed. That was supposed to tag them all up. You can see they were ready to clear it, and now Shao left in the smoke. Trying to clear, trying to spam. Oh, but Navi have been able to hold the line. They get 3. The 4th tagged up. Saw him trying to make a play by himself, and he does. They've tried to equalize it, and once again, it all falls onto Sam in a 1v3. No armor, just a ghost. He's got the spike close by. He should be able to get it down. No immediate threat, and he tucks in the smoke. Not understanding there's a player right above him.
That is crazy from Navi there. The fact that close range engagements are going in their direction when they're all buying up ghosts against the Frenzies who did close the distance on them is crazy. And right here, Sugetsu should be dead.
Twice over.
And then here, yeah, they did know where Sam was because of the spike just getting planted, knowing that he should have tucked into a smoke.
Yeah, he couldn't have gone far.
Yeah. Didn't hear the TP or anything like that either. So that's both pistols here for Navi. And on that attack side, that's crucial. But here on the defense, it's just going to add so much work for NRG to be able to bring this back. Spam through.
Find you.
Shao again trying to get that onto ping. Not quite able to do it. Is there backup here? No. Shao's alone waiting for CNET, but they don't punish. And the flash as well from Angel to defend his position still.
Now you see CNET has filled the space to help a little, provide some cover. Spike's going to rotate back towards A, and once again, it seems like we've got a split on our hands. Remember, the last time they tried this, it was canceled. They threw the brakes on it and then pivoted away.
It was canceled, though, because Navi had a great response at it to slow it down.
What's the response this time? You imagine it won't be as labored. It's just pistols for NRG here.
I mean, they've set up Angel in a great position right now. CNET, if he gets the spam off, if he gets spotted, Angel can peek out, but he gets deleted by Victor's Classic.
From a distance, too. But now CNET making his presence known up in heaven.
Yeah, that flood through the door as well, so good from Zipon. And they'll have to opt to go for orbs.
30 seconds left.
Anything that they can find, anything that they can get, as Navi seem to shut the door on another round. Put themselves up 2.
And again, they didn't manage to convert the bonus, but here on this defensive side, it's going to be much easier of a task. And weaponry will be relatively even. It's the famed Navi buy. There's a lot of work here for NRG ahead of them. It's crazy that this is the first matchup of group stages, and they're already going toe-to-toe. But Navi, despite that 6-round streak, look to be, again, back in control.
You hear that utility soaring through the sky. CNET, understanding there's pressure, procs the dash, wants to go aggressive, wants to take an angle. And a life with it. Not able to do that.
Oh! That's so nice from CNET.
I thought he had a kill there.
Yeah, at least he gets some damage done. But just pressuring with that haunt so good. And can he get the timing off on this? I thought maybe he would have walked through. Yeah, maybe with the flash. So Getsu's joining him. This could be dangerous.
Just found him, B-Main, and now he's swinging out mid. Vanessa's turret gets a kill. NRG able to keep him back for now as they get 3, make that 4.
So much util there. And nothing actually found except for Angel. Or, excuse me, Zip-On, the final person to push way late. He was the first guy to flash into that. And there was the flash from Angel and Cat as well. Shao, what can he find?
Spike planted.
Find a little bit of damage there on the receiving end of it. And he's heard. You've got a dart.
They know he's fridge.
Yeah. You've got Sam close by. I mean, they've got the guy spotted.
I mean, Sam could just walk over and eventually spam him if he so wanted to. You can tell every single one of these rounds, they are working so hard for. The re-clear from CNED back in B-Main when they initially fought, him instantly getting back. They're calling another play. Crucial first round though on this attack side for NRG. Watching these teams play so far in these first 16 rounds has been absolutely a blast. It's a travesty that we haven't seen them play more. Because we've only seen them, the cores at least once against each other.
Now it feels like the game begins. The CNED's able to get another kill.
And that was a flash obscuring the haunt for him to go with it.
Oh, the trip!
Oh my goodness.
How is he alive? How is he alive?
Somebody broke the trip for him. Came back down to earth.
Artist swinging around, 8 bullets. Not able to land them. Sugetsu's still healthy. Chow from up top helping, providing a little cover. Sam's been spotted. How bold does he get? Bit too bold, perhaps. Crashies once again in a 1v3, looking to collide, and he does! Unreal clutch! Oh, we gotta look at that one more time.
This guy is something special. Stand up. Oh my goodness. And that's why the desk was talking about it, almost unanimously said, Crashies, the best player on this team. At least this iteration of it, those moments are why. Again, he's the reason why they qualified to Tokyo in the first place. Clutching out against Cloud9, up-trapped again. This haunt is so good.
I don't know how he didn't land that shot there. It was close. As quickly as he goes in, he goes out, he goes away. Blades not finding their mark.
Scouting mission for the Sheriffs. Only find the alarm bot, so NRG secures the situation. Another re-clear. Flash from Zip-On potentially. He gets suppressed though.
Not able to clear it out.
Not only did he get suppressed, but they got the information. I wonder there if Victor heard them fall off.
Because they rotated quickly. I mean, they scurried out of there.
It's crazy too, because they're playing mind games. It sounded like they were going to go for a stack if Victor was in position to hear. Instead, they fall back immediately towards A. Now they're hearing for sure what Angel's planning.
30 seconds left.
Psalm's ult cleared out.
There's no way they hit. They heard everything.
Crashies
heard everything.
Yeah, he's in a position to get a free kill here too, and he does. And now anchoring in a spot to cut off the rotates as well. And Navi, without fully understanding what's before them, is it a B hit with Artis here? Is it A? You just saw Crashies mid. Just enough. An Artis, excuse me, gets 4. A prime gaming flawless for NRG.
Heating up. The players on NRG are Navi cooling off as well. We saw a very similar streak start. There's moments like the one that Crashies just hit. In fact, it was him who started off that streak on the first half. Artis capitalizing on the anti-eco kills. The Swedish coming out from Toon Bros too.
17-9 performance for the initiator from NRG. And what a start. Remember, this is in the face of a half that should not be going this way, but they've managed to put together 3 rounds, take the lead back. But can they hang on to the momentum? Well, used early. And Crashies is so far back, he's not affected by it.
Zipon's dodged at the trip!
Again, he still gets a kill though! Tethered, but still finding value.
Flash allows Zipon on the site to start clearing, make sure there's nobody else out A. Allows them to reassess the situation, and Shao's got deep mid. He can start to listen, just like Crashies did in the last round.
Do you check it? Oh my goodness, everything is so methodical. Yeah, Angel helps from up top.
He's got to run towards B right now. He has no clue whether there's anybody out in this situation, and Finesse is going to try to capitalize on that space.
Well, where do they go from here? Because they still have Som posted up towards A. Once again, misdirection perhaps.
Angel clearing this right now. He actually got out into stairs. He hears that there's nothing happening, so CNED positions back over.
Som finding a big one. Som finding the second.
They can't peek rafters.
They just can't, man.
They're not allowed.
First Crashies, now Som. And now an Angel, who a couple of moments ago was trying to clear up B, got hit with a knife, rotates back. Now it's he who's in a position to deliver a clutch.
And chooses not to descend from the heavens. Instead, goes back over towards mid. I don't think he's going to try for this. Maybe can recover an op. But CNED was up heaven, so there's none to be found in this spot.
Does he dare?
Oh, turret's positioned the opposite way. Door closed, though.
Yeah, literally shutting his opportunity on the round.
Got to save his weapon now. I think they could have heard him in there in A main. Doesn't look like they reacted, though. Should be safe. And NRG not interested either. This attack side so far, fantastic from NRG. Again, we really thought, you saw the stats at halftime. This is going to be a really tough battle.
63.8?
From Navi, yeah, on the defense.
They've won 2 of the 6 that we've played.
I have to say, so far, Victor's KO utility is definitely getting the better of Zipon's when it comes to that battle. It's not one that you notice very often, but you could tell. I mean, in that one, Victor throws the flash bottom mid. It's perfect for Crashes to swing. Down onto Shao's position, and then as well, Zipon trying to go for a little self flash, and he gets just demolished by a quick turn. One thing you have to remember is, when you look at this scoreline, things kind of make sense given the positions of these two teams at their end of their respective splits. NRG, second place in Americas. Navi, might sound weird, but they were fourth place. Fourth place. And because of that, more pressure put on this team at this current point. They are battling for a spot at Champions. They couldn't come up against the worst opponents in groups. They have to make it out. Plays higher than Foot, at least in that initial battle. So that's why timeout called. This is their map pick. This is their time. Because NRG picked Lotus, and that has been a struggle point for Navi to find out where their comps will lie. I'm sure it's been settled somewhere. It can't possibly be that Yoru they were running.
We could only hope. Love to see the Yoru.
It's a light buy, though. Angel did save that weapon, remember, but he gave it to CNED. A lot of teams aren't doing this for some reason. Get your star player that weapon.
He has delivered for Navi a few times in this map already.
NRG been doing a great job neutralizing him, though. He hasn't found any value as much on this defensive side, outside like the pistol round.
Finesse once again stuck mid. Getting info, perhaps getting a rotate. And Artist once again tried dashing out, but he's caught by the trip.
And normally Crashes is great at destroying trips with his shocks.
Once again, the micro game being played. Either way, NRG still have the site. Remember, this is a lighter buy for Navi. And Som's gonna clean it up with 3 on his own, make that 4. NRG at 11.
Navi try to go for a flood with the lesser weaponry, but Som parts the waters. Nobody swinging there with the cage as well. There's literally no util. Som's just playing aim lab at that point. Just nasty stuff. He's had so many insane moments on this map. And we're entering round 20 right now. This is the first opportunity for NRG to capitalize on this fantastic attack side half and put themselves on match point.
5 rounds in a row. Victor going up aggressive, but I don't think they realize that Zipman's tucked. Sugetsu able to help.
He's in trouble though. Artis is up.
Trip's not finding it there. You saw him on screen for just a moment. The blades are though. The Xiao is done. Numbers for NRG once again.
And over. Navi put in this position where retaking is so hard. They're fighting so hard for the sites. CNED with an op though. And this lockdown, very tough to deal with.
Turret, the lockdown, the spam, they know he's there.
He's behind him.
70 HP, and once again, Artis, a couple of blades to the back of the head. A 4K for the duelist as NRG gets to 12.
It feels like the important rounds. Artis is showing up over and over and over. In fact, everybody in the second half from NRG.
It's got to be by committee when you're going to divide the data like that.
Nasty.
Your fault.
And that was a buy round.
Enemy remaining.
The last one they tried to flood. This time, they crush him. Match point now for NRG. And again, a 6-round streak. This is where it fell apart in the first half. But I mean, with the way the rounds have been going this time around, 4 chances to close out.
Made quite the runway for themselves. NRG currently have 4 towards A. Finesse once again lurking not far behind. Drone the first to go, and that knife is gonna get so much info. 4 tagged. Off of that, you can't help but wonder. You actually see Angel swinging in towards B just as those 4 hit with the knife, expecting Finesse to be trying to find some space.
Here it goes. This is where that mid-rounding comes in. We actually haven't seen many of those moments where you are confused as to what the calls will be, but this is where the 2 wise men, Finesse and Angel, battle the best. He's gonna call a re-clear up Cat, and this trip has been a problem. Finesse at the same time trying to activate a lurk for himself. And also they feint towards top mid.
That knife's gonna tag him. The trip is down. They can push through that, but he tucks back. A 1-for-1 is Sam once again finding a multi-kill up in heaven. And look at Finesse, he's tucked his way in. Bit of a shaky crosshair there. Pressure still applied, and the Nano to cut things off. There are only 17 seconds left here.
They're still trying to clear the site right now. Not sure if Sugetsu still lies in wait. There's a lot of time finally for Navi to come through, but 3v4 at match point, they cannot lose this.
Cam cleared, ult used. Spike ticking away. Artis trying to hold the line as Angel is just above him. Unaware of his position for now.
How does Xiao use his ult? He's got to try to clear some space with it.
And he's got to be fast on it here. There it is, ult invested. When does Finesse go? He's been spotted, 28 HP left. It's just a distraction, he's just a nuisance. As NRG are able to hold the line by themselves. Sam gets a 3K again as NRG take a 1-0 series lead.
I can't stress enough how much that half right there from NRG is not supposed to happen. That was perfection. Finding the momentum early and crushing Navi, not giving them a single round outside of that pistol and the anti-eco. And finding ways to just stop all the ideas. Navi as well, strategically suffered in that game. They continued to rely on the same tricks. Finally in the last round as well, pushing Sugetsu onto different territory, but again, NRG losing both pistols. Having a 6-6 first half on their defense and coming out victors. Not supposed to happen.
Not at all. Outrageously impressive. And once again, for NRG, you've got to talk about the usual suspects, right? Crashies had himself a day. Artis, you know what he's going to get. But for Sam to deliver the way that he did, massive rounds on the attacking side.
The guy's the only person who has not lifted a Valorant trophy. Not a single one. And especially not at the caliber that these gentlemen on the server have on all sides. The rest of the 9 players lifted Champions trophies, lifted major trophies. It's crazy how he's able to compete at that level.
A turn on that flash was gross.
Rounds like that with a dagger too. I mean, we've seen that situation just reversed, and it ends in an ace for Som. I thought that ace was random, but no. You see it again from him. He's so good.
All smiles from Som, all smiles from NRG. They find themselves up 1 with Lotus on the other side. We'll be right back.
Have you ever asked yourself after a bad game, what am I missing? Or sought help from impatient friends? Or browsed desperately for answers that only bring up more questions? Your self-doubting days are over with Discovery, the first game-focused AI. Discovery is trained on the world's leading esports athletes to be your everyday personal coach. That's right, Discovery can help you improve your gameplay by giving you tips and strategies to take your game to the next level. Get started at aimlabs.com/discovery.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.